Fuller. Most people know me as Cre. Baby name my mother gave me. Just kind of stuck. Originally from Mount Pleasant, Michigan, up right in the center. I am now currently living in Ypsilanti, Michigan. I've been in the Ypsi Arbor area for about 13 years now. What do? I make robots, or at least things that look a whole lot like robots, or what you might think a robot might look like. Some of them light up, some of them don't. It's a whole lot of tinkering. I think that's what appeals to me.
Let's build a robot. Let's tell it some secrets and hope that we don't get caught.
Shadow Art Fair. I had attended a couple shadow art fairs and just found it fascinating, all these local artists, and I never dreamed that I would be a part of it. It was actually quite humbling. A friend of mine, Sherry Green from Sparkle Pants Industries, a friend of mine who has done a number of them, suggested that I make a few of these robot heads and put them up in there. So kind of on the lark, I went ahead and did it. I got a stock around, made a little display, and it went great. Like, the response was overwhelming, and people were appreciative and giving of their positive thoughts and their money. Without the Shadow Art Fair, I don't know if this would be what it is today. You know, it was just a hobby, and now it's kind of an extreme hobby. So my house was getting overloaded with all these things, so I had the opportunity after the last summer's Shadow Art Fair. Spur Studio was opening up, and we all took a tour the very next day after the last Shadow Art Fair to kind of go scope it out, check out the place, and I found a room that kind of spoke to me, and put some money down and moved into there. I kind of moved this incredibly trashed out spare bedroom I had and moved all that junk into my new Spur Studio location, and it's helped tremendously being around like-minded creative people, having a more uninhibited space to more or less trash. You can do whatever you want there. Again, all the creative people around you kind of helps spur it on. A lot of musicians, artists, creators there, free thinkers. In addition to the Shadow Art Fair, has been very important in taking this creative process where it's gone, and hopefully where it's going. I'm not sure where that is, but it keeps evolving.
Robot, volcano.
A very common question is, where do I get my parts? And the answer to that is anywhere I can find them. Whether I'm climbing in a dumpster, you know, an old broken lamp on the side of the road, or any sort of antique store. You know, Recycle Ann Arbor is a huge source of this junk, because a lot of the stuff I end up picking up or getting is stuff that is incomplete or broken, so it's nothing that an average person is going to want. You know, I like the broken stuff, and you know, I generally look for, there's a couple things I look for. If there's an aesthetic piece, got this today, it's just, I'm not sure what it is, I'm not sure what it'll be, but it's got a nice shine to it. After I kind of clean it up with some steel wool, it'll be an aesthetic piece. You know, other pieces I know I might use as kind of internally as the structure, something that'll help build the internal structure. So it's kind of both. I'll look for wiring, you know, I'll look for wiring harnesses. Sweet, it's a three-way. Anything I can find, really. If it's got a shine to it, or really any shiny or rusty, I try to make the pieces, you know, if it's a chrome piece I'm working with, you know, most of the time all of it's chrome. If it's all rusty, it all ends up being rusty, you know, to kind of keep the patina similar. And I don't know what I like better, putting it together or actually finding this stuff. I get a lot of joy just looking for it too. Springs, cogs, wheels, whatever I can get my hands on. Generally what I do is I'll get, you know, after a day of hunting, the term I use is harvesting organs. You know, I'll come in, I like to break everything down. Like, I'm probably not going to use the handle of this thing. I just want these. There's two of them. Two of something is always a wonderful thing. so I'll be able to use those. And I like to pick through and just, figure out what is trash, what is, what's something good to keep. And what looks like incredible chaos, well, actually is incredible chaos. But I still have an idea of what it is I want and where I'm going to find it. And I think the chaos helps each part kind of almost have fate land in its lap, so to speak. Yeah, I definitely believe that the details make the piece, and it is the little parts that I look for, and that's why I have so much of this stuff. It's the little parts that make it, and you can keep trucking and you can keep going on any of these and keep adding stuff. There's a point where the piece will command stop. Enough is enough, and there's other pieces that just need something else to kind of complete it, and yes, generally whether it's springs for eyebrows or something, some small piece usually ends up putting the finishing touch on the personality of each creature, each robot. So definitely details, very, very important in the work.
Let's kill that robot. Let's watch it scream and forget the guilt that we've lost.
I get a lot of feedback from people that have seen them around town. One place, I guess the most feedback I get is from BZ's Cafe on Washington Street in Ypsilanti. It's a nice little, cozy little homemade sandwich soup shop, and B expressed some interest in buying a robot head and one of the wall hanging things, so I took her some, not knowing what style she would like. She ended up buying them all. So she bought them herself and decided to spruce up the cafe with them. It's been great. A lot of great customer feedback, employee feedback, and they've helped me kind of get, put a name on it and get it out there in the public. I've done a few shows at the Ann Arbor Recycling Center. Gary has put together a couple nice art shows of found object art, and that's what this kind of falls within. So a lot of people recognize the pieces from there. Though they keep evolving, and I feel growing, there's still a similar element to when I first started, so people recognize the new and the old product just the same. Most of these shows that I've done, the Shadow Art Fair, the 3 that I've done have been great, great responses. Currently, the Riverside Art Center in Ypsilanti. That's my first real gallery show. I've had them displayed at various bars and stuff like that, but there's like real, accomplished artists in there, and I'm humbled to be a part of that, because it's great. Never thought I'd be in the room, so to speak. But that's nice. They put on a heck of a show. The queso dip is almost gone, and it's absolutely delicious. Have you tried it? Best show in the house here.
Robot, volcano, robot, volcano.
Oh my god, that is awesome.